This is the dreaded video I didn't want to have to make, but I'm making it anyways because it's only a matter of time before I would have to eventually say all this stuff. But this is something that definitely needs to be covered. So I, myself, have been making videos on YouTube in total for about 8 years. I started exactly December 21st, 2012, and pretty much went from there. By the time I hit 8th grade, I had created and attempted at least 4 YouTube channels, all with different styles of videos and strategies, which all systematically failed in their own creative ways, from being terminated, shut down by me and others that I pretty much just straight up abandoned. But at that point, which was basically the beginning of high school, I wanted to start something that I could actually take seriously and consider my one legitimate chance at becoming whatever was my personal ambiguous idea of YouTube success, whatever that's even supposed to mean. Mostly it was based around what I personally looked up to and observed on this website throughout my own time. The many rising personalities, famous people, and all the infamous rising stars of YouTube in general, some of which impacted me deep enough to actually motivate me to achieve what they had. And for whatever reason, this particular occupation is the one thing that was my dream for all that time. The ability to put my everything into a simple online video, press a few buttons, and reach millions of people, individually watching every single one of them enjoy it. And I guess from there, if you fast forward about half a decade or so you have right now, and me, just still the same mess I've always been, except in the most strange way I can't even figure out how to describe. It just all doesn't feel real to me. Like, the time has passed, I've uploaded almost 1,000 videos in total, sacrificed a good portion of my childhood, at least half of my childhood, gained the numbers. Some might say a whole lot of numbers, others might laugh at them, but nevertheless, I don't feel like I've ultimately accomplished anything. From point A to point B, I'm still just the same kid who's always just attempted to be what is known as a, quote, YouTuber, unquote, but still not what I would, in all intents and purposes, describe as a YouTuber. From the time I had 500 subs to 500,000 subscribers, nothing altogether seems to have been gained. I don't know if there would have been a point where I would have been able to sit back and say, okay, I've done it. I am now a YouTuber. Or I have now gotten this or that. Because that's effectively not what this occupation is at all. What I've had to learn that the hard way. Regardless of everything I put in and expended and invested into each video, thumbnail, or idea that's all gone into this YouTube channel pretty much on my own this entire time, I still find myself having every ounce of the success and growth I obtain on this platform being solely controlled by just a faceless, invisible, virtual algorithm of sorts. That isn't a person at all, and it doesn't care about you at any extent. This algorithm can and has made it quite clear, at least to me multiple times, that it is not obligated to give you views, it's not obligated to give you reach or any form of exposure, and it by all means can just up and ditch you all out at any time. And when you're in the position where you have to all of a sudden call this once fun and happy hobby a job, that type of setup really just doesn't work out too well. It's like having a job where you show up to the workplace on a regular basis, put in the same required hours every single day for years, but having a boss you've never even once seen before, never talked to you, only sometimes deliver your paycheck. Only sometimes. Maybe if they're in a good mood one day, but other than that, just no communication whatsoever. That's precisely the point. It feels like for all this time, I've been working for an unseen robot, just rather than actual people, the things that consume my content and make me who I am, pretty much. And that's always been the main foundation of my dream. And ironically, the main thing I've been missing all the way up to right about now. I don't feel like I truly have the ability to reach people, despite everything. I don't reach people, but the robot running the show behind the scenes chooses whether or not I reach people. And that's the exact opposite of what I envisioned for myself as just a dumb kid with a dream 8 years ago. The thing that I envisioned for myself was just a far more happily ever after type of an intangible reality that I always thought would be the reality if I just worked hard enough for it. And I wanted it, whatever it was, to the extent that I gave up stuff that I shouldn't have. I sacrificed my grades, friendship, homework, going to skate parks, whatever kids, Zoomers do these days, I don't even know. But I was in front of a computer screen for 10 hours a day just doing this. And, well, I mean, here I am still doing it, back in square one. Actually, I never even left square one, so I shouldn't even say that, but that's the predicament, pretty much. This whole thing has transcended into a job whether I like it or not, even though I don't consider it a job because it's always just been a hobby from day one. Either I continue to work for this virtual algorithm, and it's continually changing, unpredictable, indiscernible, and unknowable requirements, or I could just drop everything. But regardless, it doesn't really matter for me because I've gotten to the point where I no longer need this to keep going with my life. I have so many other aspirations, so many other things that I'm currently working on that I'm equally as excited to bring to fruition as any video idea or concept I've had. YouTube just might end up being something that I used to do, something that I just started with perhaps, but at the same time, I've never wanted to hit a milestone more in my entire life. You probably know it. It's 1 million subs. I mean, so close, but yet so far, which makes this even worse. Like, just in retrospect, that I have to feel like this about it. But, I mean, we're going to hit 1 million subs no matter what. The thing is, I just need to have some time to figure out where to go with this whole thing. I'm absolutely not quitting, okay? So don't misinterpret everything I just said as just one big goodbye video you'd see on trending after someone got canceled on Twitter or something. Thankfully, I could at least say I haven't had to deal with that yet. But for me, and the relationship I have with this platform as a whole, it's gotten a lot better, admittedly, but that's only because I feel like YouTube really means less to me in general than it did before, because it's had to have been like that just to keep my sanity. The bright side of everything is that due to this shift in my goals in my life, I am now working on bigger and better things for you guys, since you deserve it for being the few people on this earth who actually listen to my rambling about things like this. I have a new game in the works, and yes, it's an actual game. It's going to be called Block Economy. It's fully online, multiplayer, and based off of a combination of Minecraft, GTA Online, and Kerbal Space Program type concepts. And it's coming out for sure in 2021. But the first alpha versions just might be released as early as the end of this year. So, yeah. I mean, you should stay tuned for that. But as for me, I'm definitely not quitting. And we're going to hit 1 million subs. But just what this video is supposed to establish is that you shouldn't be surprised if I end up moving on from this channel in the future, especially by the end of this year. I don't want this to be the last year on YouTube for me, but the thing is, some things are just kind of unavoidable. And, you know, changes happen in people's lives, and at the end of the day, I've always just been a person. Even no matter who you are and who you see me as, whether I'm just a live streamer, a how to grow on YouTuber, a Minecraft gamer, whoever any certain person sees me as. I'm just nothing more than a simple person. And that's really all what it comes down to. So that's all I have to say here. And I needed to say it. And I'll hopefully be able to see you guys as soon as possible for another video coming up. And yeah, thank you for sticking around. I'll see you guys later.